And we're rolling.
You're back in the film cave.
Yay.
I'm Casey. This is Steve.
Woo.
We've got a very Disney-centric episode of the film cave.
That's right.
So here we go.
That's Casey.
Hey.
I'm Steve. This is the Disney episode of the Film Cave.
My best movie buddy right here. All right.
So we're going to be discussing the influx, is that a word?
It is now.
Of Disney live-action movies. So I think... So we're going to be talking about all the Disney movies that they've made into live-action movies and how well they've been doing and how not well they've been doing.
And now that they've greenlit like 16 more...
A ton of
movie ideas.
Disney movies that were animated that they're now remaking into live action. Because there are some that are Disney ideas or movies that they've made before, like Mary Poppins, which is already live action kind of CG.
Right.
That they're redoing. But I think
like as a sequel or something.
Right. So we're kind of focusing on
I think I've got mostly the animated
right,
ones.
that's fine. So mostly we're going to do animated to live action or live action CG, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So did it all start with Alice in Wonderland or did it start with Cinderella?
It all started with Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think people at that time, that's an interesting one for them to start out with, because it came out in 2011, and I loved it because that's my favorite classic Disney movie.
The animated one.
Yes, is Alice. People liked it.
It did over $100 million.
Right. So
that's where they were like, hey, we're onto something here.
And then after that, they did Cinderella.
Yes.
And then after that, they did Maleficent.
Mm-hmm. And then Beauty and the Beast in there. Right,
so they have those three. And then, so this year, the two that came out this year, Alice in Wonderland and then Pete's Dragon. You saw.
Pete's Dragon?
Yes.
No.
So I saw it.
No,
and it was different than what I expected, but it was in a good way.
Yeah.
With Robert Redford and Bryce Dallas Howard story. I'm not, like I said, I honestly haven't seen the original one like all the way through. I've seen parts, so I don't really know the whole story.
I haven't seen it in years. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I watched it all the time. One of the lesser known ones. I like the balance of, with Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton involved, and it does well that they're like, of course we're going to make a sequel to that, and then it didn't do so well. Yeah. Tim Burton was on more of as a producer role, but he was making other stuff.
Yeah.
James Bobbin comes in from directing the Muppet movies, and was really really passionate about the Alice in Wonderland, of course, as well.
It was about her trying to help the Hatter and his family, so she had to go back into time, and time was played by Sacha Baron Cohen, and he's this crazy kind of guy who was in charge of like people who are living and people who are dead, and like their time ends, and then he switches it over. It was interesting. Cool. It was cool. So then that was this year's. And then recently they did a teaser. They still haven't done a full trailer yet for the Beauty and the Beast movie.
Yeah, I bet it's on with Moana or something around Thanksgiving.
It'll be before the end of the year for sure.
Yeah.
So that is directed by Bill Condon, who did part 1 and part 2 of the Breaking Dawn.
The Twilight movies. Yeah, he did Dreamgirls.
Right, he's done some good stuff.
Gods and Monsters, and he's a really good director.
So it stars Luke Evans as Gaston, and you have Emma Watson as Belle.
Yes.
And then you have Dan Stevenson as the Beast.
Ooh. Ewan McGregor as
Lumiere. There's a ton of other characters.
Huge cast.
It's good.
Yeah, this is going to be really good. I'm really excited for it. I like the Beauty and the Beast story.
Right, when they announced it, I was excited, and then the Emma Watson signing on, I was all for it. Since then, they've just announced a ton of movies they want to do. So I'm going to try and we're going to go down the list.
Yeah. We'll go back and forth. Two most recently, okay, yeah.
So you go ahead. Two most recently.
So the most recent one is, and this is wild, I think. So Guy Ritchie.
Oh, right.
Of Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Sherlock Holmes,
British,
1 and 2, very
hardcore,
British.
Shoot 'em up action movies.
Yeah, he is in very serious negotiations to direct Aladdin for Disney. It could actually be a straightforward Aladdin story like we know
just
it,
retelling.
and they're going to keep a lot of the same music or similar music.
That won Academy Awards.
Yeah, but later on down this list, there's actually a separate Genie's prequel.
Oh, okay.
Like a separate movie about how the genie got into the bottle.
See, the thing is like with all these movies that are like still in the development stage, it can go anywhere.
Right. It sounds like Aladdin is a little bit more on the fast track if they're looking to hire Ritchie as the director.
What's the thing? If they hire a director, I think they would try and like fast track it.
Yeah, they're still not sure how to play the genie because Robin Williams was so just iconic as the genie in that role.
Yes.
But then also, which is very similar to what Guy Ritchie does, is that there's going to be a non-linear story.
Okay.
It's going to jump over all over the place.
That's fine. I guess we'll just talk about ones that have directors attached already then.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that they were making a Dumbo, and they have in talks Tim Burton to do that one.
Right.
So that would be interesting that he's going to be doing 2 different Disney movies. He did really well with the first Alice, and to have a Dumbo be a live-action, CG.
Right. It's going to be very much like Jungle Book.
Right.
Because that was the other one from this year. Jungle Book.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
that did really well.
That did awesome.
And they're now fast-tracking Jungle Book 2.
Well, after he does Lion King.
Right, so Jon Favreau should be back to direct Jungle Book 2.
Right.
After...
But he just signed on
for the Lion King.
Right.
So...
Okay, so we have Dumbo with Tim Burton.
Got a lot to keep track of.
But he's not signed on. He's just in talks.
Yeah, he's just in talks.
The other one that I was going to talk about was The Little Mermaid. They've had so many people go on and off and on and off, and leading stars go on and then off, and then the directors and all this kind of stuff. And so I've kind of forgotten about it, which is kind of sad because I really liked that movie, the animated movie. But they've had, Chloe Moretz. Wait, what?
Chloe Moretz.
She was gonna play. She was gonna be the lead, and then she backed out on that.
Right.
And then they had a director. What's her name?
Oh, Sofia Coppola.
She was signed on for a while to direct it. Oh. And then she fell off.
Left. Yeah.
Right. So it's still in development.
So it's typical pre-production or rumors swirling, deals trying to get done, and then they don't, and then people move on to other roles or other projects. So.
They have. The other one that I read about was Peter Pan.
Yeah.
But they have.
And David Lowery, who did this year's Pete's Dragon, is now doing
in talks or signed on.
Yeah, he's definitely doing it. He's signed on.
Nice.
He's in pre-production.
So there's a couple things. Yeah. So there's a couple things there.
Now.
So you have Dumbo, who is in talks with Tim Burton. You have Peter Pan, who has a director, and you have Aladdin, who's in serious talks with Guy Ritchie. Yeah. And then you have they have Lion King with Jon Favreau.
And then another one that just recently got pretty quickly fast-tracked is Mulan.
Right. So that was nominated. That was up there. So I heard that Ang Lee, they approached Ang Lee to do it, and he passed on it. Oh. He said, "I don't want to do it." Yeah. That would be cool.
That would have been cool. Been interesting.
Very dramatic. Action.
They've got a release date for this, November 2nd, 2018.
I think
so 2018 is going to have.
I don't think they have anything other than Beauty and the Beast for next year of these remakes for Disney.
Right.
Because they don't have anything shooting. And if you want to put it out next year, you have to shoot it now. 2018
becomes a very busy year because the Mary Poppins sequel comes out that year as well around Christmas. Mulan's just before that, in November 2nd. 2018. So,
and they put these dates on there just so they can have like a point where they're like, okay, this is what we want to do. Let's try and beat that. If we can't, okay, we'll move it back. And dates gets pushed back and around all the time.
It's interesting that those dates are so close together. Like I feel like one of those is going to move.
Oh yeah, it's got to. Okay, so just mentioning some other ones. Cruella. They want to do 101 Dalmatians. Cruella and Emma Stone is in serious talks to play Cruella.
Yeah, she's been attached to the role for a while.
Yeah. So they're gonna take like the Maleficent roots and do like the villains side of the story, and then have her be like an
origin story for Cruella de Vil. And then The Sword and the Stone. That's another one from an earlier animated one that follows a young King Arthur and his adventures with Merlin, the wizard.
Yeah, it was the last. Then the animated one was the last one that was made before Walt died. That was the last one.
That one was one of my favorites.
That was good.
The Sword and the Stone, and then Robin Hood with the fox.
Pinocchio. Well, these are all just like, we want to do these movies. Who knows how long or when they're going to be done.
Just go down the list of their animated movies.
And then they have Tinkerbell.
Yeah, Pinocchio.
They're in talks with Reese Witherspoon to play Tinkerbell. And then they have the Snow White one looks kind of interesting, though, because this was like their very first animated movie that came out.
Yeah.
And this is supposedly they want to do like the story of her sister.
Yeah. So it'll be called Rose Red, and it follows Snow White's sister. After Snow White bites into the poisonous apple and is asleep, Rose Red gets with the 7 dwarves and tries to rescue her, and all of the adventures of Rose Red.
Yeah.
So going to kind of a different take.
And they're talking about like a Prince Charming, Cinderella Prince Charming movie, so showing his side.
Technically they already did a Snow White.
Right.
Ooh, a Chip and Dale movie. Did you see that?
No.
Chip and Dale / CGI / live action. Rescue Rangers. Yeah, based on the 3 seasons of that show, which I loved.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, because
I didn't even know about that. Holy
that
crap.
One and Rose Red. A live action Winnie the Pooh.
Right. Oh yeah, Winnie the Pooh. That's right. That's a big one. So out of all of the ones that we mentioned that it's in development, has no, that's in development, Beauty and the Beast being passed. So all the ones we mentioned.
Yeah.
Which one would you most wanting to see?
Well, with Guy Ritchie almost attached, I'm pretty intrigued to see how Aladdin comes out.
Yes.
How that takes shape. Really quite intrigued by that one, and maybe the Staith can play the genie. Who knows?
If the Staith plays the genie,
Statham.
I'm out.
I know.
I'm out. I'm not doing that.
No.
The other one I'm looking.
Just typecasting the guy.
I want to see Mulan. I think that would be a cool live action, because that's a pretty big movie. Like if you were to have this whole big battle, with this family. It seems like very
epic scale.
Yeah, it seems like it could be a very cool like war movie with a Disney attitude. I think that'd be cool.
Money, money, money.
That's right.
Money. Okay.
All right, that's it.
Oh, Disney'd out. All right.
That's it. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for staying tuned this whole time for the Disney stuff.
Live action talk. And yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you next time back here in the Film Cave with Steve and Casey.
That's right.
Yeah.